welcome to the Engerati studio at Charge 2016. Joining me is Tomaž Orešič, Chairman of the Supervisory Board at Elektro Maribor. Tomaž, great to have you here.
Thank you.
So, Tomaž, I'm going to go straight to the point because you've been an expert in the space for quite a while now, and you've witnessed a lot of the change and transformation that's taking place. One of the big themes is digital transformation. Would you mind telling us about how that's impacting the sector, especially in the context of brand image?
Yeah, there are really significant changes going on along the whole energy value chain. We have renewables in the generation. We have smart grids and distribution generation in the TSO and DSO business. And of course, we have the completely new world in the retail business. And retail business is actually the one we are talking about here, and which actually allows the most, gives the most room for branding and marketing strategies. And we see the transformation that really, we see how the incumbents are being challenged by new entrants, by big companies, by companies from other sector, by innovative new entrants. And they are really being challenged right now because they have this problem from the old times with this, let's say, not maybe best image with specific perception of a commodity supplier. And yeah, these are now the key challenges.
Okay. One of the interesting things that come out, and apologies if I said digital transformation, what I did mean was transformation, of which digital is one of the most exciting ones. One of the key things that happens when you mention digital transformation in the energy sector, people mention the comparison with the telco sector. What's your view on that personally?
Telco sector was mostly compared to electricity supply by marketing strategies. We heard in recent years many times that actually the utility sector will follow the telco sector in terms of marketing approach, customer engagement, and so on. But there are several specifics which have been overlooked by some of the utilities. But now with new technologies, with new services, with new business models being offered via digital transformation and smart grids, the utility sector is finally getting closer to the let's say telco sector. If I summarize, utility sector never had so-called fun factor, which is connected with other industries like telco. It was always just a commodity. And now with new offerings, with new business models, this fun actor appears, and this gives more room and potential for innovativeness in terms of customer engagement, in terms of innovative marketing approaches, and so on. So this makes now the commodity sector, the utility sector, closer to telco.
Well, it's very interesting you say that because that sets me up for the next three questions. So hold on to your seat. One of the points you mentioned there is the perception of utilities, right? It used to just be delivering electricity. It was a commodity. So let's look at that customer perception and how are you seeing that? You know, and even more so, how do utilities, in your experience, do they understand the perception do they really understand the perception that customers actually have of them?
Yeah, good point. And this actually makes the difference within utilities. Since we are talking about branding and marketing at this conference, it is interesting to see how some of the companies have really overlooked the real perception the customers are having of them. And we see other companies which do care about how customers see them. And this brings to another point, and the most important point is that utilities have to know the customer. So they really have to know them. They have to communicate with them, and but I mean you cannot do marketing and send messages about something what you are not. I mean you have seen utilities with like 70% of their generation portfolio being fossil fuel, and they started with some being green campaigns, and actually people started laughing about them because this is how people really see them. You cannot change it with one big budget campaign, and so you have to be really you have to be fair, you have to be open, and you have to build trust with what you're doing.
Well, that's a very interesting point there. I want to come back to, the separation of the commodity, the commodity as is, and the focus on services. And one of another key point in this sector and in most sectors eventually is disruption.
Yeah.
A lot of people, there's a lot of talk out there about the amount of disruption going on in the energy sector. So, how does this, what are some of the opportunities or challenges here, especially from a brand perspective? The fact that what was a commodity before now is up for debate.
Yeah, what you mentioned is actually one of the, from my point of view, maybe not everyone would agree, but I think the key disruptive trend in the industry is this detachment, this separation of commodity supply and services. Now, we mentioned this technology influence in the sector. So with new services, the trend is that the commodity supply will somehow lose their profitability potential. It will go to actually zero margin commodity supply. On the other side, the services will be the point on which the utilities will be able to develop a brand. Because with services you will be able to make the difference, and since now through technology the field is open, so about new services, so this really brings a lot of potential in the industry.
I almost feel inclined to ask whether this links back to your earlier points about not just quoting or stating that you're green. That's not just a service, right? That you actually need to have a service and a plan to actually deliver on some of these things.
Yes, but and communicating about this, you have to really be consistent, and you really have to walk the talk. I mean, you have to really be what you communicate with customer, and this is, I think, the only way that you can build trust. And this is the only thing that you can be actually different from the others.
Okay, so would you say then, in your perspective, and it's quite interesting, in your current role now, you're chairman of the supervisory board, and do you kind of think that for a utility out there right now, it's really got to be about customer trust and the experience that they get? How big a deal are these things for the world that we're stepping into now?
I think this is the key element, and everything talking about branding, you can use as much money as you want, but if the customer doesn't trust you, if he doesn't believe that you are really doing, and if he doesn't see that you are really doing what you are saying, then none of the campaign can help you. So this is the key element. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think that's probably a brilliant place for us to bring this session to a close. You've heard it here first. Be about what you're actually speaking about. So Thank you very much, Tomaž.
Thank you.
And thank you as well for listening to this session. If you'd like to hear more about energy branding, customer trust, building experience, and customer engagement, obviously, please check out the other interviews on your screen. Thank you.